Guys, I'm super excited for this episode because we are going to use it for two purposes. One for the pond, for our Ripple community, and also for the Ripple Effect podcast. It is a follow up to an interview that I had with Chloe Spillane earlier this year, actually in 2024. Gosh, time flies. She did a great segment for our Ripplers in the pond, and I've had so many positive comments about that session. People have encouraged me to get her back, and I promise you, I have been wanting to do this for a while because she and I have really hit it off. I've really appreciated the friendship that we've created between us. And for those of you that don't know, Chloe Careers is actually a career consultant based in Australia, but happens to be here based in the US for approximately 6 months. And she is trying to get her business started here as well. One of the things that she's built during her time here was Chloe AI, a tool and a resource for job seekers. And I can't wait to learn about that. Part of the reason I wanted to do this episode and be able to offer up two different takes, so to speak, for our audience is that this woman is doing some really amazing and interesting things. Even if you don't find yourself in a career transition, you need to know what Chloe is putting out on the ongoing regular basis, because there are tips that even if you don't expect to be laid off or don't expect to make a job change, that you're going to want to be cognizant and aware of. She's that good. Her information, her approach, her attention to detail, I am sure is in Chloe AI and then some. And so I'm super anxious to learn about that tool, what she's doing, what her stay in New York has been like, and what's next for Chloe. And I'm so grateful that she agreed to come on and record a session with us before she gets super, super busy and then ends up having to go back to Australia for a period of time. So the woman is in demand. I'm grateful that she made the time. With no further ado, let's dive in and do a little more rippling with Chloe Spillane. Chloe, thanks so much for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm really well, thanks, Steve. Thanks so much for having me again. It's great to be back.
Well, I got to tell you, it's by demand. Everybody in the pond really loved your session before, and you've got a bunch of new followers, I think, on Instagram, watching what you're doing, following your adventures as you're navigating New York for
Mhm.
these last few months that you've been here, and we're all kind of anxious to hear how that's going. But I also want to talk about this new technology you've brought out. But before
Mm.
I dive into all of that, I know that the time for you to be here in the US is coming to an end soon. What is summarize the experience for us so far as being the first time in New York or in the United States? What's it been
Yeah.
like?
Well, I've actually been to New York a few times
Okay,
before.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, but as a holiday, so as a complete tourist. So I think the first thing was realizing how different it is to live here as opposed to holiday. Um, but I would say it's been a bit of a whirlwind. Um, well, I think moving across the world by myself and being completely being quite vulnerable here. There was like a bit of a transition to get settled. Um, yeah, it's me, my business, and that's it. So it was just about getting settled, finding my feet, and figuring out, a little bit around routine and how what my focus is for my time here. But once I got that sorted, then I was amazed by the amount of opportunity that is over here. They always say there's so much opportunity in the States, and if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. So I was kind
Yep.
of, I was kind of like thinking about that, going, okay, well, if you can make it here, Chloe, you're going to be sorted for life. So, um, yeah, it was, yeah, it's in summary, I guess. I've been putting myself out there a lot, even when I've been feeling maybe nervous or scared about it. I've just throw myself into the deep end, going to networking events almost weekly, meeting people, making things happen. I realized very quickly that you can kind of let this city overwhelm you. But
Yeah.
if you kind of just take it by the reins and say, no, I'm going to make it work for me, put myself out there, be proactive, but also have a balance between, being proactive and putting myself out there, but also making sure I'm having some downtime as well. But yeah, it's been phenomenal. The people I've met, the opportunities that have come across my desk, and my business has taken a complete pivot. So yeah, it's almost been 6 months now. yeah, 5 months, and then I'm here for another month. So 6 months, I've completely changed my business, made some great friends along the way, and opened up some really exciting and incredible doors for me. So I will be leaving, but I've made the decision that I'll also be coming back. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I have to say following you on Instagram and all that you are doing on an ongoing regular basis is exhausting, but it's awesome. I am
Yeah.
so I mean, just you and I connected before you actually even came to New York, and then once you were settled here, we were able to do our last interview, and I can tell you I was super, super impressed with you before you ever came here. But to see you and see how this story has unfolded for you over the last
Mm.
several months just makes me immensely proud because I see grit and determination in what you're doing. But the hustle is you've put in the time and the work, and you're starting to benefit from, all of that effort and seeing the results, right?
Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. It's so kind. um, yeah, it is. It is a lot about the hustle and putting in the time and the work. And I think when things perhaps aren't going as you thought they might, which happened a few times. I came across some blocks. I came across some moments going, "What am I doing? Is this the right thing I should be doing?" Things are changing around me, and I'm not in a familiar place. Like I think. Um, you don't think about when you move to another country, all the things you might take for granted, or your creature comforts, all the things that are around you that you're familiar with, they're not there anymore. So when you're going through big changes, to not have that comfort around you, it was quite confronting. So yeah, but I think just trusting the process, knowing that I'm going through change, I know that I'm going to reach a point where I get clarity, but I just need to take myself through this process to allow that clarity to happen. And that has what that is exactly what's happened. So yeah.
I love it. I mean, maybe just for the audience's sake, maybe just give
Yeah.
everybody a little bit of a rundown as to how you were inspired to come here and spend that time for 6 months in New York and want to
Mm,
try and grow some business here as well as continue to maintain what you were starting back home.
for sure. Uh, there's a few things that come into that. I've always loved New York. The 3 times that I came here as a holiday, for a holiday, I thought I need to live here at some point. Um, so I was determined to make that happen in some way, shape, or form. When I actually got the visa, I didn't really know what I was going to do over here. I just knew I was going to come over here and do something. But the visa process is such a long process. I applied, the interview was 6 months later. Like it's a process. But I had a lot of inquiry from clients in the States wanting to work with me as a career coach. And I felt really comfortable working with them on a lot of different topics. But when they were helping me to navigate the job market, I thought, well, I'm not in the States. I can
Right.
get like some kind of an understanding of the landscape from an international perspective, but I think I need to actually be in it to understand it a little bit more. So that was an inspiration or motivator for me to get over here to just kind of expand my knowledge of the US job market. And I've learned a ton while I've been here, which has been awesome. But then the other part of me was that I knew I wanted to scale my business somehow. I thought there was a potential for AI to do that, and I had this idea of what it could be, but I didn't have that clarity on what it was. And I thought, well, there's opportunity in Australia, absolutely, but I knew that there would be more opportunity, and I knew I needed to just put myself out there and get a little bit uncomfortable to get to where I know I wanted to be, which was the other, I guess, motivator to come across here. And the visa allows me to be here for 6 months, so that was the 6 month period. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, and what I've loved to watch is the fact that I kind of had an inkling when you and I talked last time that you were working
Mm,
on something in technology, but what I've watched you do is lay the groundwork for those that are following you on Instagram. It's like, hey, I'm going to this seminar, I'm going to this workshop, or I've got this
mm,
training, I'm doing these things. And I think the takeaway for me is that, you're over here doing more work than those people that are over here try to do. And it's inspiring because you're really carrying multiple workloads because at the end of the day, you have your clients back home that you're continuing to serve. You're still doing a business development effort here, but the trifecta is that you're learning new things and capabilities, including investing in this technology that led to Chloe AI. So where does that drive and ambition come from? And how did it lead you down the path of AI as wanting a tool for yourself, for your clients?
yeah. I would say I've always been an ambitious person. I've always been really driven. I think I would actually, pay respect to my parents. The way that they raised us was always to have a strong work ethic. Work, like, if you wanted something in life, you work for it.
Yeah.
You've got to put in the time and effort and energy. My parents both worked really hard to be successful in their own careers, and I think my brother and sister and I, we all have that same kind of strong work ethic and ambition. But I've kind of, for me, we talked about this on the last podcast session about how non-linear my career path has been. I've always I've always known that there was something big that I wanted to do and have a big impact, and I was just determined to figure out what that was. And it took me, a long time to get to that point, but I just knew that I couldn't be complacent. I had to keep going until I found what it was that was going to give me that. Yeah, this is what I need to do in the world. This is my calling, and I finally got there. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like I guess my own motto or saying that I go by is I never want to live a life of thinking, what if? I will always take risks, and sometimes they don't work out. But I'm always going to take a risk. I'm always going to, put myself out there and say yes to opportunity, because I know that if I'm sitting in my room one day going, oh, I wonder if I took that opportunity, what could have happened? I'll never think that, because I'll always know that I've tried, in some way, shape, or form, whether it's worked out or not. Like, you know that you try. Yeah.
I love that. I mean, I know a lot of entrepreneurs that don't have that level of gumption. I think that's fantastic and such
Yeah.
a great quality in you. And it's a key lesson for those of you that are watching this or hearing this, that what you can do when you're not
Mhm.
afraid to try, right? And
Yeah.
even if you're okay with failure, right? That's what good entrepreneurs do. They figure out what works, what doesn't work. You're going to have a lot more failures than you have successes, but at the end of the day, you're willing to still take the risk and roll
Yeah.
the dice and see what happens.
Yeah. Absolutely. And yeah, it's there's times when it's not working out, and think about throwing in the towel. But yeah, I don't know. There's just all that constant drive that, like, no, I might fail at a few things, but I know I've got to get to a successful endpoint. And I think just
Yeah.
having that drive and belief in yourself that you can do it, you will do it, on your own timeline as well.
I love it. And you did do it. So you actually put,
Yeah,
time and energy, laid the groundwork to learn AI, and now you have your own product, right? Chloe
yeah,
AI. So tell us about it and tell us what the intent is behind it and what you want your clients to walk away with from using it.
for sure. So the inspiration for Chloe AI came from me having a high demand of people wanting to work with me one on one. And I thought, well, I can't keep selling my time, and there's only one of me. There's only so much I can do. So
Yeah.
I thought I need to find a way that job seekers or people wanting help in their career can access me, my expert advice, whatever it is, anytime, any place, anywhere. And I had this, I'm not sure if maybe other millennials that are watching this will remember, but Polly Pocket, like the little Princess Polly Pocket that you have in your pocket. And I just used to think, imagine if it just felt like you had a career coach in your pocket, that you needed some advice, you had a last minute interview, you could just like jump on there and chat to me, at any moment in time. And so that's where I had this idea of Chloe AI, and I didn't know what it would look like or anything like that. I just wanted people to be able to access me in some way. And then I went to one of the many networking events that I was going to, when I got here. One of them was an AI networking event, and they said, if you have an idea, have a little bit of a pitch together. There's people here that are, investors or people that specialize in building AI products. They want to hear about what you're doing. So I was, slightly terrified. I almost didn't go because I was like, "Oh gosh, am I ready for this?" But I went and I met with, actually the moderator of the panel of, some highly successful AI business owners who were talking about their multi-million-dollar ventures that they've built. And I connected with him, told him my idea, what I wanted to do, and he was keen to get on board. And we had a conversation, and he's the I have the vision and the idea, and then he builds it for me. So he's the genius in the AI piece, um, and we built it from there. So Chloe AI became, uh, a career coach assistant. So it is for anyone that wants to feel that they can get career coach advice on their job search, in their career, whatever questions they have. It can be anything from, I'm feeling stuck in my career, what should I do? And there's like and Chloe will, I call her, she's a she. Chloe's a she. uh, she will give you,
She should be. I mean,
yeah, I know it's me. It
yeah,
is me.
it's
And
the founder
before I
right
go
there.
into, yeah, it's me. Before I go into exactly what she does, the blueprint of Chloe AI is from all of my knowledge. We created a huge document that has all these resources and materials from work that I've done working with clients and my career. So, we've trained this AI model to be me, essentially. um, so, that's the, the amazing thing about AI now is that you can train it. So anyway, it's trained to be me. I had a client recently who got a job and she said that she used Chloe AI and it felt like she was talking to me
That's
directly.
awesome.
She said, I felt like I was having a conversation with you live because we worked together one on one last year. Um, and so she took Chloe AI and yeah, she felt like she was talking to me. So that's the feedback we get. But it's, it is, meant to help people at any stage of their career or job search. So as I said, you could ask her to help you on career clarity. She'll give you a step-by-step strategy on how to get clarity in your career. um, you want to help with your job search, your resume, your LinkedIn, matching your resume to jobs, whatever it is that you need, she will help you do that. um, and I think another part of the inspiration behind it is I wanted to make it easier for job seekers. My thing has always been to simplify the job search process. And so having a product like Chloe AI, instead of spending hours tailoring your CV to every job you're applying for, you can say, hey, Chloe, here's my CV. Please tailor it to this job I'm applying for. Please provide feedback and suggestions and rewrite my entire CV. And she'll do that for you in like 10 seconds. Then, of course, you take that. And then, so that's the fun. And so I will always recommend this. You take what she gives you and then you kind of make the adjustments you feel you might need to kind of add your voice and all of that, because that's AI, right? You can't just
Sure,
take what AI gives you and send it off. You've got to make it your own, but it still takes the time away. It takes, reduces it from hours to 10 minutes. So
sure.
yeah, that's a little bit about Chloe AI and what she's all about.
So I know probably the $1 million question is for those that are like, okay, well, is this a opportunity to work with you before I pick up a coaching relationship? Does it have to be something that I'm already engaged in a coaching relationship with you? Or if I'm curious, how do I get experience or exposure to Chloe AI? Do I have to sign up for your service, or how does it work?
Yeah, so it's a really great time to jump on because it's currently free.
That's a
um,
really good time. Yes.
It's a really good time. So you can, Chloe AI is currently in the form of a GPT. So I always forget what that stands for, but it's like you could look at it and think it's a bit like ChatGPT, but it's not. It's Chloe AI. Um, so you can just access it through a link. I ask you to subscribe to my online subscription service, but yeah, you can access it for free now. But as we develop it, and we are still developing it to have even more really cool features like my voice and eventually, me 3D, all those kind of things, and more features for people, it will come at a cost at some point in time. So really good opportunity to jump on now, and I could literally just share with you the link and people can jump in and start using it. Um, I think it's, obviously, if people want really super specialized advice, they would need to work with me one on one. But
Sure.
Chloe AI can definitely give you, well, as I said, I had a client who used it and she got a job because she was doing interview role play with her. So yeah, salary negotiation role plays, whatever you want. Even if you need a pep talk, if you're like,
Yeah.
Chloe, I've had a really bad day. I don't like my job. What should I do? She's like, it's okay. We all have a bad day sometimes. This is what I suggest you do. It's my voice. Yeah. So,
I love it. So
yeah,
eventually there might be a 3D hologram version of Chloe right here.
one
So instead
day,
of Polly Pocket, it's a Chloe Pocket, and
Chloe pocket or career coach in your pocket. Yeah. Job
I
search.
love it.
It's like a job seeker best friend. Yeah.
You really can't undersell the importance of that because I know, especially for those people that are in career transition, they're on the
Mm.
job search. It's a very isolating and challenging environment.
Yeah.
And I think even if you're living with somebody like a significant other or you're married, they quite can't figure it out. And at the end of the day, you don't really want to burden your stresses and your worries, obviously, with a partner. But your friends and your family, they don't quite get how challenging that time in your life is. And so having a resource where you can be honest and you can sort of kind of unburden yourself of some of the challenges or some of the shame or guilt that you're experiencing relative to a job search, a tool like what you've built can be that emotional support. And, obviously it doesn't replace you in that time that a client might have with you, spent, on
Yeah.
the phone or via Zoom, but it's kind of a good close substitute and it gets you sort of out of that funk, right? And then if you need the added support, you've got the opportunity to work with you directly, as you said.
That's right. Um, and I think as well, you know, Chloe AI just gives you that objective lens that I always talk about, just giving that different viewpoint, non-biased viewpoint, as well as to what you're going through. And the great thing about these AI products is that the more people use them, the more they get trained. So it's funny every time I jump into Chloe AI, I'm like, oh, she's sounding more and more like me. um, or like, oh wow, she's look at her, she's so smart. She's just like, telling me an entire salary landscape of all these different jobs. Or, um, and I think as well with the product, people might I'm trying to educate people on prompting, because the more you give it, the better the information she'll give you back. So I encourage people to just feel like you're having a conversation. So if you ask a prompt and you don't get what you potentially want, just reframe the question, ask another question. But Chloe I will also ask you a question after every piece of information she delivers. So she'll say, would you like, just say you want your resume updated for ATS optimization, she'll do that for you. She'll give you the feedback and then she'll say, would you like me to rewrite your resume? And you say, yes, please. And then she'll say, would you like me to match your resume to a job? And you're like, yes, please. So, she'll keep the conversation going with you to make you feel more comfortable in engaging with her.
That's awesome. And for those of you that are not familiar, the term that you just used, ATS, is applicant tracking
Oh, yeah.
system, right? Automated software that oftentimes companies are utilizing to cull through the many, many thousands of resumes that they're getting to try and
Yeah.
isolate on candidates that they're really trying to attract, right? Or ones that they think are ideal for a particular
Yeah.
job or role. What is the challenge that you see with the ATS systems and the fact for those that aren't using a tool or resource like Chloe AI to evaluate their resume and they're just sort of kind of one size fits all resumes and they're sending it out? Why is that not working for the vast majority of people because of ATS?
Yeah. Well, the simple question is that if your CV isn't optimized for an ATS system, it will get auto rejected.
Yeah.
Yeah. The system will
That
automatically
nobody
reject it. Yeah.
knows you even applied because it's just kicked to the trash can, right?
Mhm. I had it happen to a client of mine. When she first started, she signed up with me, and then she said, "Oh, my application got immediately rejected." And we followed up with the talent acquisition team, was able to get in touch with them, and she had an auto reject because the ATS like rejected one of the title she had on her career summary or something like that. So, it's there's simple things that you can change, but it is important to be aware of that because, as you say, a lot of organizations do have ADS systems, which means when you submit your CV, your application, it is not being read by a human first. It's being read by AI. So that's what's happening. So your CV needs to be optimized for that, to get through the first wall of the application process.
So Chloe AI knows what the other AIs are looking for.
Yeah,
So
pretty much. Yeah, yeah,
and like
she
you
knows.
said, when it says, "Would you like me to do that for you?" and you say, "Well, yes," that works out. That seems like
Yes, please.
a really, really easy, simple way to make a whole lot of hard work go faster.
Absolutely. And the more questions you ask, the more she'll give. So, yeah, I would encourage everyone to just jump on, play with it. And I also say if anyone has feedback or thoughts on it, feel free to reach out and have a chat with me. I'm more than happy to hear that.
So, just so you share with the audience, what's the best way for them to sign up and then be able to use the tool?
Yep. So you need to have an open AI account. So anyone that's using ChatGPT will have that. If you haven't started using ChatGPT, you will need to make your own account, and then you can access the Chloe AI link through there. Best way to access it, it's through my on my LinkedIn. I've got a link that says Access Chloe AI. You can sign up there. On my Instagram, it's in my link in bio. My TikTok, link in bio. So any of my social media platforms, you just jump on there and you can access it. And I also have, we've just finished building it and it's ready for launch, so I can announce it.
Ooh, all right. Breaking
Yeah.
news.
Yeah, it's super exciting.
Yeah.
Um, we've built a resume matcher. So what
Ooh.
this, yeah, I'm really excited about this one. The goal of this, when I first spoke to Coltrane, I'll also share his details for anyone that's wanting to scale their business through AI. I would highly recommend him. He was fantastic. Um, but I said to him, "Oh, I want people to not have to scroll job boards endlessly. Is there a way that we can, once we update and fix people's LinkedIn's profiles, resumes, that we can match them with jobs that are suitable to what they're looking for?" And so we couldn't do that in Chloe AI, but we developed a product that will match people with live jobs online relevant to what they're searching for, which takes away the painstakingly long process of scrolling job boards and trying to find jobs that are right for you. So um, I'll share the link with this as well. But essentially, you upload your resume, add in a couple of preferences of what you're looking for, submit your resume, and then it will say, "Hey, Chloe's going to send through some live jobs for you into your inbox," and then you'll get an email from me, and it will have a spreadsheet with jobs. It'll have the salary, the link, how you rank, like how your CV ranks for the job, and then like a summary of the job, and then how you rank as a candidate in the market against that job as well. So that's coming out this week, so can share that with everyone as well.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, definitely be sure to
Yeah.
send that to me and we'll include that in the show notes and in the video description. Gosh, with all of this that you've got going on, when are you coming back to the US? We have
Yeah.
to
So
figure out how to collaborate on something. So,
yeah, yeah. I it looks like I'll probably come back around end of July, August. So
okay.
I'll only be gone for like 4 months or so. I've got some important family events happening back home, which I really want to be back there for. And I miss my dog, so
Yeah.
I need to spend some time with my dog. But yeah, spending time with I'm. It's funny. I don't have, I guess, a home base right now. I'm from Sydney usually, and usually I have somewhere to live there. But I'll be going back to my family farm for a couple of months, um, and then seeing other family members. But yeah, it's an interesting time. But I would say end of July, August. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, what's your dog's name, by the way?
Theo. Well, his full
Theo.
name is Theodore Maximus Spillane. That's on his birth certificate, and he's a Pomeranian, so he really matches the description.
Well, listen, I just am grateful that you agreed to do this. We would love to continue to support you any way we can. So, you have really, really impressed me with everything that you've been doing here. You impressed me before you got over here as well, but really to see what you've done in a land where you didn't really have any built-in network and you didn't have a lot of connections in the course of nearly 6 months, you're just kicking ass, taking names, and here you are building technology and you're leaving an indelible mark. And even though you'll be back, it's still just proof that if you've got enough gumption, you've got enough grit and determination, you can do anything you want, no matter
Yeah.
how difficult or challenging it might be, whether that's finding your next job, launching your own venture, moving across the world to try your hand at working in a different market than you've ever worked. You're proof of that.
Mm, mm. Yeah. Thank you again, Steve. I really appreciate the words, and I guess you know, my advice to anyone that's trying to do something like that is, yeah, I came across with, I knew you and maybe two other people. Uh, um, it is just about putting yourself out there in every networking event that you go to. Just sign up for all the events, sign up to meet all the people. And yeah, it's uncomfortable at times, and you'll be put on the spot and all those kind of things. But that's where we'll see the opportunity through being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's just how it works.
As
Yeah.
a good friend of mine says, she's a local newscaster, just a sweetheart of a person, but get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah, one of my favorite sayings.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's like, "I don't
Yeah.
wanna be uncomfortable." It's like, well,
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
you just have to. Yeah.
Yep. You can hope in one hand and it won't
Yeah,
work, right? It just
yeah,
doesn't work. But
yeah,
well, I am so grateful that we had this time. I know you've got a ton going on, so the fact that you made time for me again, I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to do what I can to support Chloe AI. I will tell everybody that signed up. Obviously, I have a open AI account, so the moment I opened it and searched for you under the Explore GPTs, it came in and automatically connected it to my account. So it was super, super simple.
Oh, perfect.
And if those of you that were curious, like what's a GPT? It's a generative pre-trained transformer. That's a
Mm,
bunch of geek speak to basically say it's where all the knowledge is, it's where it's coalesced, and ultimately where it's transferred back to you based on the
yeah,
questions you ask. So
yeah,
yours is set up. I already can see I'm going to be playing with it, and I can't wait to experiment with it. But more importantly, to share it with all of those that are in the Ripple community that are looking for their next role, so they can be
yeah.
aware of it and start utilizing it. So, Chloe, thank you so much for everything that you bring to this world. You are a inspirational entrepreneur, and I'm so grateful you are my friend. So, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me again, Steve. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. Guys, we'll be back with another session like this, but be sure if you're in the pond to drop Chloe a note and let her know that you saw this. And if you have any questions, drop it in the comments below. And if you're catching this on the Ripple Effect podcast, either audio or video, hey, be sure you follow Chloe. We've got her links in all of the show notes and the details, but you're going to want to follow her on social media and check out her amazing services and programs. So be sure to do that. Until next time, everyone, Ripple on.